be at the fight. I'm ready to back up everything I'm saying, and I'm through talking.
This gymnasium is packed. It is absolutely packed. Yeah.
What's up, man?
Not much is going on, boss.
How you doing, man? Good to see you. Just,
Good to see you. How's everything going?
Great, man. Just sitting outside, enjoying the weather a little bit, and running around. That's what your boy Junkyard Dog earlier.
Oh,
Had to
JYD
catch
in
up with
town?
him. Yeah. He'll be here. He'll be there on Saturday.
Oh, okay. Oh, so we definitely
Man.
gonna be talking trash there.
Hey, man, big time. Yeah, man. But how everybody doing, man? We just about to have a conversation with Joe Smith. Y'all know me. I'm Ricky. I think y'all used to follow me when I was doing the Red Cup Hour for a long time. Doing something a little different now for the Alumni Basketball League. I'm now working with, along with Kareem Rush, Jason Jackson, Mark Stern from Capital Hoops. So, and Jason Conley, of course,
Okay.
is a big part of this. So, we just want to talk about the game a little bit. But before we do that, I definitely want to talk a little bit with you about your background. You're a big time guy in this area. We
Appreciate it.
we love you here, man. A lot of my friends. I got a lot of friends that play with you.
Right.
So definitely want to talk about that. But before we do that, I just want to make sure everybody come out to the game on Saturday. Still got tickets available at eventbrite.com. It's going to be a good time. It's going to be a competitive game, and something we starting around the country. And we'll talk about that a little later, man. But just to get into it with you, Joe, I mean, a lot, growing up, and I'm like a historian. I follow the game from, I'm a little younger than you guys, but one thing with you, man, I don't know a lot about your story before you came to Maryland. So if you can kind of talk to the people about, what, kind of how you went up in Maryland. Who else recruited you?
I mean, from Norfolk, Virginia, right up the road, was probably one of the guys outside of DC and Maryland that Maryland was recruiting at that time. In high school, I had actually a great senior year. Maryland was recruiting me actually since my sophomore year in high school. They saw the improvement every year. Unfortunately, I never made it to top 10, top 20 in the nation or in the country as a high school player. But Maryland stuck with it. They stuck with it. They recruited me and they stayed with it. They saw the talent. I guess they saw the potential. But I was always an ACC type guy. I loved the ACC at that time. I grew up a Carolina fan, and so I wanted to play in the ACC. So when I narrowed my schools down, it was all ACC schools. It was Virginia, Maryland, Wake Forest, Florida State, and NC State. And so I definitely wanted to play in the ACC. But Maryland put that extra push in. You know what I'm saying? They put that extra push in. Like I said, they started recruiting as a sophomore and never stopped. I seen that we used to play in summer leagues. I used to see some of the, scouts from Maryland and Coach Art Perry in the stands, scouting me and going back with information. But I mean, it was I think it was destined for me to go there, destined for me to be a Terp. And when I made that decision, it really wasn't a tough decision. The year before, they had recruited three great players with Exree Hip, Dwayne Simpkins, Johnny Rose.
Okay.
So it was a young nucleus already. Keith Booth had committed already, so he was coming in. So it really was a no-brainer for me just to be that fifth leg, with a young team like that. Coming off of probation, which Maryland was on, a couple years before. Gary had just got there. He was early in his career there, and I thought it was something that I felt something special, that we could something special could happen, with the group that we had there.
Dwayne Simpkins, that's my main man, and Johnny
That's
Rose.
my guy.
Johnny, I was just talking to the other day. But real quick, before we go further than that, the Urban Coalition. So I'm real big. You know, I've always been a big, and I was a little young when I was going on, but you know, I had started something after that called the Legend Coalition. So a lot of those older
Okay.
guys who played in the Urban came and played in that at like 35, 40 years old. So
Gotcha. Okay.
my question for you is, who were you playing with in the Urban Coalition? What were some of your moments from there, if you can remember some?
I mean, Herbo was at that time it was super deep. We had Dennis Scott came back, Sam Cassell came back, Vernon Maxwell was out there a few times, myself, Carmelo Anthony. I mean, it was some of everybody coming through the gym, man. As you know, it was standing room only and outside, inside and outside. So, I mean, that made the game so special, and that made the game of basketball, man. It took it to another level for me because I played in summer leagues, but like I said, I'm from Norfolk, so we get crowds, but nothing like what I saw at Herbo. When I got to Herbo, man, it was something special, and I knew that how much they loved and appreciated basketball in the area.
Who you remember being like your toughest matchup in Herbo? Or who anybody like maybe not been NBA that you remember?
Not really like that. Not really. I mean,
Now, 'cause when you was playing, it was mostly NBA guys.
yeah, it was mostly NBA guys
Yeah,
on the,
man, I know.
on the floor. So that's yeah. So Chris Webber out there at times. I
Chris
mean,
Webber,
it was
yeah.
yeah, exactly. So it was mostly NBA guys.
Mike Smith.
Mike Smith.
Yeah,
Yep, exactly,
yeah.
exactly. So both teams had NBA guys up and down the roster.
So real quick with so you get to Maryland now. From what I understand, your first game was against Georgetown, like the
Yes,
very
sir.
first game in the. So tell us
Yes,
about that.
sir.
I was hearing you talk about that on the radio.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing about it. I mean, I knew coming to Maryland that you know it might be some type of rivalry between Maryland and Georgetown because you know two big colleges like that in the same area, recruiting wise, you know they recruiting some of the same players and things like that. But coming from Norfolk, I really didn't imagine how big that rivalry is, and there was something that hadn't taken place in a very long time until we signed a deal to play Georgetown. I knew coming into that game, I had a tough matchup with Othello Harrington, who was had just won Big East Rookie of the Year, Freshman of the Year. I knew my matchup was tough, so my nerves was already on edge. But you could kind of feel the intensity building up the closer we got to the game. You know, the preparation for the game. You know, Coach Williams was always on us in practice, but he was on us even more. You know, the closer we got to that game, that's how you knew that what type of intensity that game was going to have. John Thompson was someone I always respected as a player. You know, seeing him on that sideline when I came out of the tunnel was, you know, kind of like a fandom moment for me. You know, seeing I was kind of a fan, but I knew that we had to go out there and take care of business. Both sides of the arena was packed. You know, you see the red and black on one side, you see the blue and gray on the other side. You know, and both sides were, you know, full of energy, and the game was so electrifying. And like you said, it was a close game. It went back and forth. They took the 10-point lead. We'll come back, take a couple-point lead, and you know, and in overtime we were fortunate to come away with the win. But it was a big game for us.
Game winning, you hit the game winning shot, right?
I didn't, not that game,
Oh,
not that game.
okay.
Dwayne,
Now,
I think Dwayne carried us in overtime.
Simp, he just logged in too. What's up, Simp? How you doing, man? I see you
Yeah,
jumped in
D
and
Simp
watching
carried
me.
us in
Talking to
overtime.
my God, man. Love Simp.
What up, D Simp?
One of the interesting things about the Maryland Georgetown playing each other, and a lot of times fans don't always understand this, is in a recruiting battle, specifically a local recruiting battle.
Exactly.
That game can matter. It can be the difference between the kid picking Maryland and Georgetown. So if you go into Maryland's locker room right now, and I know you've been in there, on that wall in the film room is not them playing Indiana in the championship. It's beating Georgetown in 2016, and that's by design, right? Because they're going to be involved with a lot of the same guys. So, you know, I get for the fans it may suck. But in the business of college basketball, that can be the difference between landing. You know, you don't want to be, well, we just beat Maryland 3 straight times. We just beat, you know, Georgetown 3 straight times. That little notch can make the big difference in recruiting. But, you know, I think something will happen. So, you know, at Maryland, man, you was there 2 years. I was looking at your numbers. I mean, 20 and 10 as a freshman and sophomore. And I was talking with some of my younger mentees. I was like, your college resume is not talked about enough. I mean, ACC Rookie of the Year, ACC Player of the Year, All American, swept every Player of the Year award
Appreciate
from
it.
somebody that wasn't, recruited as a McDonald's American to pretty much walking away with everything. And people don't understand how unique that is because normally Player of the Year awards split.
Correct.
So for you to sweep all of them, man, how was that feeling?
I mean, that's something, I mean, what you just mentioned about how unique it is. I mean, that's something I talk to the kids all the time about is how much hard work that I had to put in when I first got there. I mean, it was nonstop hard work, whether we on the football field running 100-yard dashes, 50-yard dashes across the field, agility work, weight room work. I mean, I was nonstop, man, and that's something that we as a group, that's something we brought together as a group because we had a lot to prove. We had a lot to prove as a unit. We went down to Greensboro for Media Day. And, they had us picked at the bottom of the ACC and, saying how young we were, how light we were. We didn't have any bigs. And, so we all brought that back and we all put that on our shoulders and brought that back to campus, man. And we went to work and it showed out there on the floor. Our first year, it wasn't just me. I mean, everybody came out there my first year, and we really had a lot to prove, and we wanted to make a statement.
I mean, and you think about how good the ACC was at that time.
Exactly.
It's hard to even really fathom. So then, I mean, when you were thinking about, when did you know you were going to be the number one pick in the draft?
Not until I was chosen.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
now,
No, I mean nowadays, yeah, but our draft was so deep. I mean, it was myself, Antonio McDyess went second. We had Rasheed Wallace, Jerry Stackhouse, KG Garnett, Damon Stoudemire. I mean, our draft was so deep that nobody knew who was going number one until the name was called. I mean, we were all in the green room when David Stern took the podium for the number one pick, just looking around at each other like, whose name is he going to call? So. It was definitely a blessing, man, for my name to be called first. I still remember my mom's reaction and seeing the tears flow down her face, and that's something that's a moment that I'll never forget.
That's what it's all about, man. So you played in the NBA for a long time, man. I mean, I was looking at something the other day, and it's like under 100 players that's played 1,000 games. You know what I mean? So like.
Wow,
people don't realize
I didn't even know that.
I was looking at something about that. I'm officially checking, but when you think about that and how hard it is to stay in the NBA that long, how were you able to do that? What was that experience like?
First, for playing 1,000 games, I really took pride in being available. That's something I really, wanted to try and play every game I could. I never wanted to take any days off, whether it was practice or the game. Whether I'm slightly hurt or have a serious injury, it sucked for me to miss games and not be out there on the floor with my guys. So that's part of the reason. But it was a heck of a journey, man. I played for 12 different teams. Some teams twice. I was traded a few times. I was signed as a free agent a few times, and it was a heck of a journey and one that I wouldn't trade in for anything, bro.
Man, it's just amazing.
I played alongside of a lot of Hall of Famers. LeBron James, Kevin Garnett, Kevin Durant, Allen Iverson. Kobe. I played alongside of a lot of.
What was your favorite stop?
Minnesota, no question.
KG?
Minnesota, yeah, Minnesota. We had a real tight group, man, and our team chemistry was unmatched. So one thing I was always looking for was a brotherhood, and that's what we had in Minnesota.
Was Sam Cassell there with you, or you were before?
No, Sam came after I left. I was in Milwaukee, yeah, when him and Sprewell got there.
Oh man, that's good stuff, man. So just before you go, a couple more things, just in terms of this game coming up on Saturday. I want to kind of go this way. So as we're building this league, right, we're looking to go around the country identifying different rivalries that, mean a lot, that people want to come see. In the ACC, Maryland, again, Maryland doesn't have a lot of games against Georgetown in history.
Right.
Who would you say, if you had to consider Maryland having a rival, who would you consider Maryland's rival?
Oh man. When
You
I
would
was
think
there,
Virginia.
when I
You
was
think
there,
Virginia?
part of you was that's what I was just about to say. When I was there, it was
UVA.
UVA. It
UVA.
was UVA. Yeah. Every game we played with them was competitive, hard nosed, and we built. I think we built a little bit of a rivalry against those guys at that time. Nowadays, since we moved to the Big Ten,
Big Ten.
it's tough to call out a rivalry. I mean, but it has to be
It is.
Georgetown because it has to be Georgetown
It is.
because of the
It is,
interstate.
man. It's hard, and then you're talking about in 2024 UCLA and
Exactly.
USC are coming
Expanded
to
to
the
the
Big Ten, so it's going to be we're going to see, man, because it's
right.
tough. The Maryland resonated so well with the ACC, and as we kind of see, the ACC potentially could be getting ripped apart because of football. So it's going to be interesting to see where they're going. So just as a
Right.
fan of basketball.
Hmm.
What kind of rivalry games, alumni games would you want to see around the country? What are some rivalries you think about?
I mean, it's the obvious one, Carolina Duke.
Carolina Duke,
Uh,
yeah, that would be a good one.
Another good one that people forgot about. I mean, since we're talking about Georgetown and Syracuse.
Yeah, that's the big time one. They still play now,
Um,
even
yeah, I mean, yeah. So that'll be another one. Trying to think back who. Um, hmm,
I mean, you think? I mean, I think when I think about some of these rivalries, I like them to kind of focus on like the fans, right? So when you see like an
right.
Indiana Purdue or like a Alabama Auburn, these are things that
Those are two
fans
good
talk
ones.
about for years,
Those are
So
two
that's
good
kind
ones.
of, that's good stuff to see, man. Does anybody have any questions for Joe in the comments before we go? We just want to get a quick conversation in. We're not going to keep anybody long because he got to get ready to get on that plane and come up here,
Oh
spend some
yeah,
time with us on Saturday. It's going to be a great time at the game.
I'm looking forward to it.
Still tickets available on Eventbrite. Give it a second. Anything you want to tell us, Joe? Anything you want us to know what's going on lately, man? Got anything popping out in Atlanta you want to tell us about?
Yeah, man. I mean, if y'all in the area and y'all need some training, some hoop training, basketball training, holler at your boy. I got my basketball academy down here. It's doing skills development. Joe Smith Basketball Academy. Y'all let your boy know, and we'll get your kids or get you out there on the floor, get some work in.
Appreciate that, man. Well, Joe, thanks for stopping by, man. Appreciate it.
I
Definitely still want to
appreciate
see
you.
everybody at the game. Alumni Basketball League. You can go to ablballing.com, Eventbrite, get your tickets. We'll all be there. We got the legends coming out. Joe will be there. Appreciate you, my guy. Appreciate everybody for logging in, and see you Saturday.
I see Wiz gonna be there. That's my guy.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Walt.
Man, Walt Williams. All right, y'all.
Yeah.
Y'all be good.
All right, man. Y'all have a good one.